Hi everyone, this is Cassie Vitali from Lynn TV. Right now I am in the Memorial Auditorium here in Lynn at the City Hall, and we're here because today, November 18th, it is the recount for the mayoral election here in Lynn. Basically, a few weeks ago when the vote came in, it was a very close vote. Judy Flanagan Kennedy was declared at that time the winner by 27 votes, but because the margin between the two was so close, they're doing a recount. And so the recount's going on right now behind us, and you can see that there are people who are working diligently. There are people who are overseeing the work being done by those counting and separating out all the votes. It is a hand recount, which means every single vote that was cast is being counted by hand, one by one, and being reallocated to either Judy or to Chip Clancy. So right now they're doing that, and we wanted to make sure you had a chance to see how it's done, and hopefully you find that this is informative. If you weren't able to be here, it gives you a chance to see how they do a recount. And so I spoke with Mary Audley about how the recount works here in Lynn. She was able to explain the details of what the process is like, and also let us know more about who is involved in doing the recount. For the recount, he had to apply to do a recount. Can you explain why that happens?
Each candidate had 10 days to request a recount, and the process of requesting a recount is they get a petition paper and they have to obtain at least 10 signatures from each ward that they're requesting the recount in. And obviously, as the mayor's position, they've requested a citywide recount. So Mayor Clancy forwarded in his petition last Thursday, and then Councilor Kennedy brought her petition in through her people on Friday, and both of them met the signature requirements. So the recount was scheduled for Wednesday, November 18th at 9 o'clock.
Are they, again, using the machines, or how is it done?
Each of the candidates had requested a hand count recount, so it will be counted by hand. All 16,320 ballots will be counted by hand. We will be holding the recount on the stage in the Lynn Auditorium. We have 7 tables set up, 1 for each ward. We're going to have a person that will be taking the ballots out of each precinct box, putting them in blocks of 50. We have a person that will be reading the vote and a person recording the vote. When the votes for that particular ward are tabulated, then it will, or marked, it'll go over to the tabulation table where they will record the number for each block in that precinct, and then totaling those to get the precinct total. And that'll be done for each precinct in each ward, and then each ward in the city. The people that are working on the recount are mostly poll workers that I have out at the polls that have done poll work for quite a while, that are very reliable. I've also gotten a few people in City Hall that have taken vacation time and offered to assist me, and people that I know are comfortable with numbers and understand the process. And I've also asked some students to come and participate as runners, and basically what they will do will be bringing any contested ballots over to the election commissioners or any other thing that has to be delivered, because the observers are not allowed to touch the ballots. So they would be the ones that would be running with the ballot, and I think it's important for them to understand the process. These are, a lot of these kids had worked the polls, so they're getting that part of it, and I think it's really good to get the kids involved and see how it follows through. Each candidate is allowed an observer for every clerk that is working on the recount. So technically, if there's 3 people at a table, one of mine would be the counter, the recorder, and the person putting the ballots into packs. They're allowed 3 people at each table, and that's both sides, so there could be 9 people surrounding a table. But the only people handling the ballots will be my workers.
So contested ballots go to the election commission?
Well, the process with the contested ballot is if the person that's reading the ballot gives their opinion on who the vote should be counted for, the 2 observers would look at it, and if one of them disagrees, they can challenge that vote. And the process will be the 2 attorneys will come over to the table, they'll review it, and on most cases, the 2 attorneys can agree who that ballot should be counted for, and if it's consistent with what the reader said, then the ballot remains at the table and is counted as such. However, if they cannot come to an agreement, a runner will come over, take the ballot over to the election commissioners, and there's 4 commissioners. We will look at the ballot we will decide who the ballot should be counted for. It will go back to the table with that report of who we decided who would be voted for. That is the vote that's recorded. However, if one of the attorneys or candidate does not agree with that, that vote then becomes a challenged ballot, and it comes back to the election commissioners. We put it in an envelope, seal it in, mark who the vote was given for, who protested it, why they protested it, and we all sign it, and it's put aside as a challenged ballot. In the event that the recount goes further to Superior Court, then that would be, those challenged ballots are the ones that would go to court. The reader is the only one that's making a decision on the ballot. Then the other person that's recording is only recording. The person counting the 50 ballots is only counting the 50 ballots.
So the readers are people who've worked polls, who've had
Yes.
experience.
Correct.
And they're people who have been able to be involved in the political stuff, you know.
They understand the
where
process, and if any of them happen to be City Hall employees, they've come down and we've explained to them the process, and it's always the voter intent. And again, whatever they decide, there is no right or wrong, because the two observers are there to keep, you know, their candidate in mind and you know, challenge anything that they may think adversely affects their candidate. So there's like checks and balances everywhere, you know, as there is through the whole process.
Okay. And once you've completed the hand count, does the official overall count get done separately? Like there's groups of 50 and
Well,
then
the tabulators, there's a tabulated table, and they will be sitting there. They will get all the sheets from the blocks, which will have all the marks for each, that the recorder has marked for each candidate. They will total those up, and they will mark that down for block 1, Ward 1, Precinct 1, you know, for an example. When they get all the blocks done for that precinct, they will total the numbers for those blocks. And then when they're finished with each precinct, those totals for the precincts will be totaled. And then again, so on till the wards are totaled, and you get the final total. And again, there'll be people observing from both sides at the tabulation table. They'll have their own tabulators. They'll get the same information. It's all out in the open, you know, and if they don't agree, they can challenge that, obviously.
And how long do you think something like this would generally run if there's not too many contested things like the...
I would imagine that it will be done in one day, because there's only 2 candidates.
Well, everyone, we have found out the official result, and that is that Judy Flanagan Kennedy is going to be your next mayor. She'll start in January. She won by 30 votes, and today, of course, was the recount, so this is the official result. And we did have a chance to catch up with Judy to hear what she had to say about becoming your next mayor for the city of Lynn. Well, right now, I have the pleasure of having Judy Flanagan Kennedy here with me, who is your newly elected mayor for the city of Lynn. Judy, they did the recount. They're all done. How do you feel right now?
I feel like I finally can be certain that I am the mayor-elect. Until this time, it was just pins and needles waiting for the results of the recount. But I'm thrilled that it's finally over.
I know you've had a long road ahead of you. It's been a busy campaigning season, and you've had a lot of people who, you know, wanted to make sure that this turned out in your favor. They wanted to see what would happen. They were here today. Is there anything you want to tell people at home?
I just want to thank all of the people who, not just today with the recount, but throughout the campaign, who have been helpful, who have volunteered their time, who have sent their good wishes. To all of those people, thank you so very much, because this truly was a team effort, and it couldn't have been done without you.
And I just wanted to thank you for taking the time to talk with us today and having come on before. I know there were a lot of questions and you had to keep fielding them, whether it was at debates or sitting with me in the studio, and we appreciate you taking the time to answer those questions for people and for talking to us right now. We want to say congratulations. And so starting in January, you have your new, that's when you'll officially be in there, right?
Yes, first Monday in January, and Cassie, thank you for having me on.
Oh, anytime. So you're here, we're here with your new mayor for 2010, Judy Flanagan Kennedy. We'll see you in the winter after the holidays.
Good.
Have a
Thank
good
you
one.
again.
Thanks.
All right.
Well, everyone, that wraps up today's recount for the mayor's race. We thank you so much for tuning in to our footage. LynnCam TV is dedicated to bringing you information about what's going on in the community, to let you know more and be in touch with what's happening. And for those of you who tuned in, we really appreciate it. We hope you found it interesting. On behalf of all of us at LynnCam TV, I'm Cassie Vitali, and I would just like to say thank you to Mayor Clancy and his staff, and also to welcome our new mayor for 2010, Judy Flanagan Kennedy.